Hi friends, welcome to Cracku's video series. I'm Sayali. I'm the founder of Cracku and an alumna of IIMA. In this video, I'll be explaining basically an overview of how to approach CAT 2022. There's less than 2 months left, how to actually prepare for it, what to do as such. I'll also tell you our details of our CAT course that is going to start on 10th of October. It will be a short-term course where basically within that limited time period, we are going to tell you how best to crack CAT in that short time period. So let's get started. So firstly, I want you to understand what the exam is. This year's exam is likely to be similar to last year's exam. There will be 3 slots, 2 hours per it will be a 2-hour exam with 3 sections. The first section is verbal, then there will be DILR and finally quant, 40 minutes for each section. The expected number of questions is 66. This is what came last year with 24 questions in verbal, 20 questions in DILR and 22 questions in quad. Now this is what we expect because this is what came last year, and since the format is not changed, it is still a 2-hour test. This is what we expect to happen. Now basically with this kind of format, with this kind of like the sections, and there is a lot of things for a student to actually get familiarized with. So the first thing that I will actually say is that if you're just starting your preparation with less than 2 months to go to CAT, the first thing that you absolutely need to do is first please take the previous year's CAT papers. You need to take at least 1 or 2 CAT papers to get a good sense of what the CAT exam is like. What are the different sections? What are the types of questions in different sections? What is the format of each section? I can explain that to you, but you will best experience it if you take the previous year's papers. So please go and check out CAT previous year's papers. We have uploaded them for free on our website. Take at least 2 so that you get a sense of what the format is like, how to actually go between the sections, what to expect in CAT. You should not go there with a blank mind, right? You should know exactly what is going to be thrown at you during the exam. So before you even begin with your course, before you even begin with your lessons, with any preparation, you should know exactly what is like at the end of the day, what exactly you have to do, what is the task you have to perform, what is the test at the end of the day. And you will get that idea only if you take the live previous year's. So please take it in, if possible, take it in the mock format. Okay. I would start. See, basically we have it for CAT 2021, CAT 2020, CAT 2019, and all the slots of all of these years are there in mock format as well as PDF format. I would suggest that take it in the mock format so that you know. Firstly, how many questions are there in the mock? Secondly, to know what type of questions are there, what is the difficulty level. So once you do that, you will get a sense of, okay, this is the CAT difficulty level. I need to be able to solve this level of difficulty questions. Don't worry about how much you score. If you score poorly also, it doesn't matter. The point of taking that mock is not to say that, okay, this is what you're going to score in CAT. The point of taking that mock is to basically get familiarized with the format. So take it just to familiarize yourself with the format. So now that you that is the starting point, I would say the starting point of your preparation. Now before you get started, you should know what exactly is actually expected in CAT. What should somebody do to actually crack CAT? What kind of skills are needed? So firstly, when you start with the RC section, the skill that is almost throughout checked in the VARC section are your comprehension skills. Comprehension skills basically means that if you're given a like passage or you're given a paragraph, are you able to understand the paragraph? Are you able to understand the implications of the paragraph? So basically, comprehending written material is extremely important for a manager. A manager needs to be able to read like long reports, needs to be able to distill them and understand the implications of different parts of the report. So understanding verbal information is extremely important for a manager. So that's what they are testing. They are testing whether if given like paragraphs of material, can you understand, okay, what is the implication of this? What is the implication of this? What is the implication of this? So throughout that entire VARC section, the first 40 minutes, 24 questions, entirely is a test of your comprehension skills. It comes in the form of RCs, which is directly reading comprehensions, where you will be given a passage and you will have to answer questions based on the passage. It will be in the form of parajumbles, where you will be given 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to say in which order these lines should be arranged to make a coherent paragraph. You will be given OOC parajumbles, which is like a variation of this, where you will be given 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you will be basically asked that 4 of these lines make a paragraph and one of them is out of context, and you have to identify which one is the odd one out. So you'll say, okay, 1, 2, 4 and 5 make a paragraph, and 3 is the out of context one. So these are also essentially a test of your comprehension skills. And lastly is para summary. Basically you have to identify which option would be an appropriate summary for the paragraph given. RC and para summary, you can very clearly see why they are a test of comprehension skills. Para jumbles and OOC para jumbles, you might be wondering, why is it a test of comprehension skills? See, basically once you understand the message of the paragraph, you know what the author is trying to communicate, then there will be a natural way of communicating the message. So if I have to say, okay, go to the train station and board the train that leaves at 5:20, or go to the train station, go to platform number 1 and board the train that leaves 5:20, I will say it in that particular order. If I say board the train at 5:20, go to platform 1 and go to the train station, it doesn't make sense. So once you understand the message, once you comprehend the message, there will be a natural order in which to order the sentences. So even in OOC parajumbles and parajumbles, understanding, comprehending what is written, understanding, comprehending verbal information is the key component as such. So the first biggest thing that is tested is comprehension skills. The second is logical reasoning skills, and logical reasoning skills are tested both in the form of, like, when you are given a lot of data, how do you handle it? Are you able to like visualize the data? Are you able to like represent the data? Are you able to tabulate it? Are you able to like show it in a clean way in which people can understand from the data? Or are you somebody who gets overwhelmed by when data is thrown at you? So again, it's a managerial skill, right? If you are given a large amount of information, can you make sense of that information? Can you say that, okay, if I convert this into this particular table, then I can find out these particular values or these particular ratios or whatever is asked of you. So basically, logical reasoning skills are also super needed in understanding reports, understanding the way things are done. So again, a managerial skill that is required. So basically you have to remember, in logical reasoning skills, essentially what is required is your ability to take information and to like transmute it into a form that is usable. So if you're given tables, you'll have to transmute it into a form where you can make columns for the missing values as such. Or if you're given graphs, you should be able to put it into a table so that you can calculate the required values. Or if you're given like arrangements information, you should be able to draw out that arrangement and say that, okay, this person is seated here, this person is seated here, etc. So basically, you should be able to take a wall of facts and convert it into actual information that is visual or understandable. Again, basically, it just comes from the practice of converting information, a wall of information, into a ready-to-use format. So always, whenever you have logical reasoning skills, the essential skill is your ability to convert information into a usable format. So this conversion is basically knowing how to represent information, and that is the key skill that is required. The third and most important skill that is required to crack CAT is quantitative skills. Many of you might think that, okay, to crack CAT you need to be super good at maths, but that is not necessarily the case. Because what is essentially required is quantitative skills in the subjects that are given, and those can be improved without becoming super good at maths in general. So for example, what I'll say is that there are certain topics within CAT which get repeated quite often. There's a limited number of ways you can actually make questions from those topics. For example, profit and loss, averages, mixtures, ratio and proportion. Many of their questions have been done to death, but they still keep coming in those same formats again and again in CAT. Now, you might not be super good at maths, but you can get very good at solving specific types of questions. So whenever we say quantitative skills also, you focus on the type of questions, the type of quantitative problems that come in CAT. And we aim to make sure that you get very, very good at it. Okay. The last skill that is tested, which people often forget, which people don't often realize is required, is speed and mental stamina. So speed is basically the ability to remain focused and intensely focused for the entire duration of those 2 hours. And it's more difficult than you think. To be very, very focused for 2 hours is extremely difficult. A lot of people, they start off with a lot of energy, but somewhere in the DILR section, their energy starts dipping, their attempt rate starts dipping, and by the quant section, they are actually fully tired and they are not able to focus or concentrate, which is why a lot of people actually have a huge disadvantage in quant section, even though maths might be their favorite subject. So basically, one of the skills that is also required in doing well in CAT is basically this ability to stay focused, to be completely involved in it, and to stay focused for the entirety of the 2 hours. Generally, when you have the actual exam day, you will have a lot of adrenaline, you will have a lot of nerves also, but you have to be able to control those nerves, stay focused, and have the mental stamina to last those entire 2 hours, because you have to be intensely focused during those 2 hours. Now let us take a look at, now that we know what is required, the thing that might be on your mind is that, can this be done in less than 2 months? You have less than 2 months till CAT. CAT is on November 27th. So can this be done with less than 2 months in hand? My answer is yes, this absolutely can be done with less than 2 months in hand. But your strategy, given the fact that there's very little time, your strategy should be like very sharp. It should be like sharp like a sword. You do not have the chance of, or you do not have the ability to have any kind of error. The margin of error is very small over here. And when I say margin of error, I refer to the fact of how you should be using your time. Your time till CAT day is super valuable from now on. So the thing that you should remember is that it is not that you should be thinking which are the best resources, or which is the best thing that I have to do, or which are the hardest problems to solve. You have to think that, given that I have limited time, what is the best use of this time? So when you think of it in that way, you have to think that what is most likely to come. Which are the areas which, if I actually invest time in, I can do much better in CAT. So basically, it need not be the ones which are the hardest problems, or even the easiest problems. These are the areas where if you put in half an hour, you will get 3 more marks. Rather than in an area where even if you put 5 more hours, you won't get the 3 extra marks. So always you have to remember, what is the best return I'm going to get for the limited time that I have. That should be your focus for the next 2 months. So if you're focused, absolutely you can crack CAT in the next 2 months. The important thing that you have to remember is, you have to make the best use of the next few days till CAT. Now, how do you make sure that you make the best use of it? So that's where the Cracku course comes in. It starts on 10th of October, and from 10th of October till a few days before CAT, we give you a daily schedule. So your daily schedule will look something like this. You will be given that, okay, on day 4, you have to do, like, say, arithmetic. There'll be averages, ratio and proportion, profit and loss, and a couple of topics to cover. And each of that, if you expand, it's a playlist. You'll be given concept video 1, watch concept video 1, take test 1. Watch concept video 2, take test 2, and so on. So basically, you'll be given like an itemized list of things you have to do per day. Now, what does this do? This reduces the time that you spend searching or thinking what I should be doing today. That is a huge waste of time, and time is we have in limited supply. So you should not be wasting time right now. You should be very focused to make sure that you do not waste time looking for resources or trying to find where should I solve questions from. Just be very focused and make sure that you stick to the daily schedule. The entire job of finding the content and finding what questions to solve has been done for you. You have to be focused in making sure that you actually go ahead and solve those particular questions. So if you are somebody who is looking for cracking CAT in a limited time, the best advice that I can give to you is stick to the schedule as given in the Cracku course. Even if you are not actually, joining Cracku course, I would suggest joining it, because it will make the whole process a lot more efficient. But even if you're not joining Cracku course, I would suggest at least follow the timetable. Our timetables are available for free. The course-wise or topic-wise timetables are available that you can download. It's a PDF you can download and print it out and keep it in front of you. So remember that because time is at a premium, you should not be wasting any time. And it is extremely important that you follow the schedule in the priority order of the topics. So in quant, for example, it is extremely important that you get very good at arithmetic. Then the second priority order is geometry and algebra. Then I would say modern maths, specifically quadratic equations and logarithms. Functions, probability, progressions in series, number systems. Number systems, there are some easy number systems questions that you should be able to answer. But many of the other ones, all of these are slightly harder topics, and they should be lower down in your priority order, because in your priority order, you should first target those which give you the maximum return on your time, which will be arithmetic, geometry, algebra, logarithms, quadratic equations. They will give you the max return on the time that you're putting in. Similarly, in VARC, it's very simple. You have to just keep focused, complete 100% laser focus on reading comprehension. Via reading comprehension, you'll actually get better at parajumbles and OC parajumbles also. You should practice from those areas also, but remember the bedrock of a good VARC attempt is reading comprehension and your comprehension skills. For DILR, the focus should be that you should know exactly how to represent information for the most asked or most often asked types of DILRs. So that is arrangements, puzzles, table-based DIs, charts. All of these are very basic types which are asked again and again in different slots across CAT. So you should be able to know exactly how to represent that information. All of these are essentially priority number 1 kind of tasks. So given the fact that you have limited time, our schedule also reflects that you have this limited time, you should be taking these tasks first. And when you first finish those tasks, you should start taking your mocks also. So once you are done with arithmetic, whether you have done geometry, algebra or anything else, once you are done with arithmetic, some amount of reading comprehension and basics of DILR such as arrangements and puzzles and table-based DIs, immediately start taking mocks. The second important thing to remember is that you do not have the luxury to go to the study room and keep practicing from the study room at your leisurely pace. That is something we suggest to students who have practiced for a year or 6 months or 8 months. If you are actually starting in October, you have to have a laser focus on where you will get the best return for your practice time. And the where you get the best return for your practice time is mocks. So take focus instead of study room and topic level test, focus on mocks. And if you have any extra time, please take sectionals. If you have done all mocks and sectionals and you have identified some key areas of weakness, then you can go to this topic test as such. But instead of, if you have not given all the mocks, if you have not given the sectionals, I would urge you not to waste time unnecessarily on the study room. You should go to the study room only if you identify a problem in the mocks and in the sections. If you identify that I can't answer questions on functions, then you can go and solve a few questions from functions in the study room. But otherwise, given the limited time, your priority number 1 should be mocks and sectionals. So with that, I'll tell you basically how to use this course. Again, I'll say that for Cracku's course, we have a very, very proper schedule. A lot of people essentially start off with a lot of steam and midway they start falling back on that schedule. And then they ask that, okay, please shift me to the newer batch or please shift me to the later batch. You should stop. The only thing that you should be very, very focused on is that you do your day's task. So whether it is in the morning that you finish it or in the evening, you should be very 100% committed that I will complete my day's task on that day itself. I will not leave it for the weekend or I will not leave it for later, because then tasks keep piling up, then pending tasks keep increasing. So you should just say that I will finish this immediately on that day itself. If you stick to the schedule, you will have 100% concept coverage. You will have adequate practice of all the different types of questions that are asked in CAT. You will have, you would have already solved, given there are 200 tests, you would have already solved around 1000 questions. So you will have ample practice and full concept coverage. So your priority number 1 should be to please stick to the daily schedule. These are your daily tasks. In addition to this, if you still have time, what should you do apart from sticking to the daily tasks as such? Your second priority should be daily target. That is your daily dose of practice. Daily targets generally are slightly difficult or actually exactly CAT level or slightly above CAT level questions, and they come with video solutions. So they are great sources of practice. And on top of that, they are taken by thousands of people. So you get a very good idea of where your peers also lie. So if you are able to not answer a particular type of question and most of your peers are able to answer that, that should be a hint to you that, okay, maybe this is a weakness for me. So first thing, please stick to the daily schedule. Second thing, whenever you're done with the daily schedule, please also do the daily target. This in conjunction with mocks and sectionals is all you need to do to actually crack CAT. If you do all of these 3 things properly, there is nothing stopping you from cracking CAT. So with this, I'll leave you and I'll ask you to start with the course, start with your preparation. And just remember, cracking CAT is entirely possible in under 2 months also, in 1 month also, provided you make the best use of your time. So do not waste any more of your time. And I hope to see all of you crack CAT 2022. Thank you for tuning in.